Imagine waking up tomorrow and your entire website has disappeared from Google. Your traffic gone, your leads zero, your revenue plummeting. This isn't some scary story. It's happening to businesses every single day because they're not properly monitoring their Google Search Console, or GSC for short. But in this video, I'm going to show you how to automate your entire GSC monitoring using NAN and a GSC API. By the end, you'll have a monitoring system that catches issues before they destroy your traffic. If you don't know me, my name is Jason. Before we get into this automation, you need to understand something crucial about Google Search Console. Let me show you something important. When your pages get de-indexed, this is what it looks like. Complete traffic death. And here's the thing. Google doesn't email before it happens. They don't warn you. They just remove you from the index. What causes your pages to become indexed, you ask? Well, it can be technical issues with your website, manual actions from Google, i.e. your pages against their terms and services, accidental no index tags, misconfiguration of the robots.txt file, duplicate content issues, and core web vitals problems, which are issues on a website that negatively impact its loading speed, interactivity, and visual stability. You can find more information, the reasons and how to fix issues on their Search Console help page. I include the link in the description. Now, if you haven't already, go and get a notebook and pen, because what I'm about to show you could save you from losing leads. And if you're enjoying this kind of content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I release videos like this every week showing you how to build and scale your business with AI and automation. Let's dive in. Here's exactly what you learn in this video. How to set up indexing monitoring with NAN, the exact workflow templates I use myself, how to get alerts when pages get de-indexed, how to identify indexing issues before they become critical, how to scale this across multiple websites. If you're running an agency or working with websites in any capacity, this automation alone could save you hundreds of hours per year and potentially thousands in lost revenue. Let me break down exactly what we're looking for in Search Console. You need to understand the fundamentals before we can automate effectively. There are three critical indexes you need to watch for. Crawled, currently not indexed. This is like when you build an AI chatbot but forget to give it the right knowledge base. Google found your page but chose not to use it. This usually means there's a quality or relevant issue. 2. Discovered, currently not indexed. Think of this like when your AI agent can't access its tools properly. Google knows about these pages but can't or won't crawl them. This often means there's a technical barrier in the way. 3. Not indexed, duplicate without users selected canonical. Similar to when you have multiple AI agents trying to do the same job. Google's confused about which version your page should be the main one. The key here is, just like our AI automation projects, is catching these issues early before they impact your business. Okay, let's do a walkthrough a high-level design. So we have the URL of the website. We grab the sitemap from that URL. Sometimes it has other sitemaps within it, like for categories or tags. So we process those sitemaps. We grab all the URLs. We then send each URL to the API in a loop. Once it's checked it, we add the details of what it found to the database. If the page meets certain criteria, which I'll show you, we then submit it to be indexed if it wasn't, and then continues the loop. Once all the loops have finished, we get the details or the stats from the database. We do some more processing, and then we add the final stats to the database, and then we send an email to the user with a link to the webhook. That user clicks on the link, have the webhook listening. We then create the HTML page for that run, and then we deliver the HTML page back to the user in the web page. Okay, let's go back to the automation. Zoom in a little bit. First off, we start with the scheduled trigger. This could be daily, weekly, whatever time frame you want. Next node is we grab the sitemap URLs from the NoCodeDB. This is the NoCodeDB, so basically we're grabbing the URL of the sitemap. We then collect the sitemap XML details from the website. We convert that sitemap to JSON. We then extract any sub-sitemaps that original sitemap had. And again, for each of the sub-sitemaps it finds, we go and get the sitemap contents. We convert it to JSON, and then we grab the URL set.url from that JSON file, and then we do a split out of the URL set to make it easier to process in a minute. We also sort it by last mod. Now some sitemaps don't have the last mod. So I added an error, the ability to run on error, continue on error, sorry. So if it's success, we move on to grab the sitemap fields and assign them to last mod and then lock. If it fails, we just assign the locked field only. Okay, and then we hit the loop. So we go down, we send this to the GSC API, and this is the JSON body we send. Okay, when you first log on to Google Search Console, this is the screen you end up. We just go click on Start Now. Of course, it's trying to verify me. Okay, so we've logged in. Things you need to keep in mind for here. If you want to add a domain, you need to click on here. And then I'm not going to do it now, as it's got some domains in there that no one needs to see. You click on the Add Properly button, and then this is what you see. So you can either pick domain or URL prefix. Domain is everything including subdomains and HTTPS or HTTP, and requires DNS verification. URL prefix is only if you enter like domain.com, then everything after that will be included. Doesn't include subdomains, and you can have multiple verification methods. And then what you need to do is actually put a domain name in. And it verifies it for you, and then you need to complete the verification. I'm not going to go through this, but they can do this using an HTML file or DNS are probably the two popular ones. Here's the DNS one. Okay, the only other thing you need to do in the Search Console is you need to make sure that the account you're using in NAN has access, and also the service account that is used for the indexing API has access. For the account, I'll go to the Cloud Console. You need to make sure you got your project here. And then if we'll go to the APIs first. Okay, for the APIs, you need to make sure you have the Google Search Console API enabled and the Web Search Indexing API. To set up your credentials, we go to Credentials. To get your client ID and client password, you get the client ID here. To get the client secret, you just here and then you press copy. To set up your authentication, we just create a new credential. So we want the IOS redirect URL, which it gives to you. Client ID and client secret is what I just showed you. What you need for your scope is https www.googleapi.com or then webmasters. Once you have that, you should be able to successfully connect. We then got the output of that. We create a process row in the NoCoDB. Here's the process table. So it looks like that. We've got the URL. The last process time is ours. So we know what's happening. We've got a verdict, neutral or pass, and then we grab all like the coverage state, robot text state, indexing state, the last call time, the page fetch state, and then the indexing requested time, which we'll do, and then the result. So after that, we do an if. So depending if the verdict is neutral and the indexing state is indexing allowed, and the robot text state is allowed, and the page fetch state is successful, if all those are successful, then we will submit to the indexing API to resubmit that page. So that's what we do for the body. We just pass in the Google cannot kill URL, and then type is URL updated. Okay, to create a service account for the indexing API, we go to IAM and admin, and under there is service accounts. I did this one before, but the video didn't work. What you have to do is create a service account, give it a name, and done. That's all you need to do on that screen. Alrighty, then we're on back to this screen. What we do is go to keys. You want to go add a key, create new, and then you want to JSON. You click on that, and then it will download to your computer. Okay, we've downloaded the key to the computer. Just click on details. The next step, what we need is the email address. So we'll copy that. Then we go to NAN and go to the submit URL updated node. I'm going to add a new one. So I'll go here, I'll go create new credential. I just leave the country as that. We paste the email in there. To get the private key, we go to our download folder. We grab the JSON file we downloaded. What we need is the private key part and everything up to there. Do not copy the /n. We copy that. We go back to here. We paste that in. Then the next bit we need to do is we set this up for a request node. The scope we need is https www.googleapis.com/auth/indexing. Now if I save that, it should go ahead and connect. Okay. The NoCodeDB with the ID, we should already have, the indexing requested, and that's the date time we requested it. Okay, then it continues back into the loop and completes that. That's quite slow for this loop to finish because it's one by one. Not too bad. So once it's finished, we then create the total stats. I'm using a JavaScript. As you can see, we're grabbing the total stat, the verdicts, the Rubbo text state, indexing state, and the page fetch state. I'll let you have a look as I'll be giving you the JSON file for this at the end. Once that's finished, we create a row in the NoCodeDB, which is in the completed run. So we're just populating the v neutral, v pass, v unknown, v, and the indexing unspecified, then the page state unspecified, successful unknown. And then we've got a field for the HTML, and then a view shortly. So after that, we split into 3. So because we're grabbing the neutral data from the database, just got a formula here, which is today formula equals yes. That's just my way of capturing today's run. And verdict equals neutral. For the second one, we're getting where the neutral is non-neutral. And then basically we've got today formula equal yes, and the verdict not equal to neutral. And then finally, the last one is get the total stats, is what we just created. Okay, we then aggregate the verdict neutral, and the non-neutral verdict is aggregated as well. We merge all 3 together. We then create the HTML from that merge. This was quite tricky because the way the merges happen, I couldn't grab all the data at once. I actually had to break it down into like this here. So this is grabbing from the last one. So we're going input data array 2, and the first one where it was non-neutral, or was neutral, sorry, it was 0, and then non-neutral was 1. Okay, once that's done, we create a hash for the ID field. Because the IDs in NoLoco are just 1, 2, 3, and so on. Didn't think it was wise to send ID equals 1 in a link, so it'd be easy to try and hack into other runs. So I created a hash using the crypto node. Okay, once that's done, we update the completed run with all the details that we've just of the HTML and then the hash. We then set the webhook URL, which is the URL of this workflow, and then we create an email, which basically here's the link to your Search Console result. And then you click on that. When you click on that, we go to this webhook. It's deactivated at the moment, so I can run this workflow. We get the completed run using the hash from the webhook. We're looking for the HTML, which we grab for the HTML template. We grab the HTML from there, and then we respond back to the user with the page. Okay, so I've disabled the chat one here. I had this here, so because this process of grabbing all the data takes a while, I added the chat here so this could work on this last little bit. And it's kind of handy if you want to see the output of a run. Also have the workflow deactivated. When you're running this for real, this would be enabled and you would have this as active. Let's test the workflow. As you can see, it's processing through. It's already down into the loop. We're grabbing the HTML inspection the first time, and as there's about 43 pages here, I'm going to pause the video now and I'll come back when it's done. Okay, we're coming to the end of the run. You can see we've processed 40 items now, and so far there's been 12 occasions where we've needed to resubmit the URL. Let's try and capture the top row. Alrighty, this should be the last run, if I'm not mistaken. There you go. So we've went through processing of the final data. We've created a HTML pattern code, and then we've sent the email. So let's get ready. So what we'll do to simulate the next part, I'll deactivate the schedule trigger here. I'll activate the webhook, and I'll save. Okay. Also need to activate it, and we're ready to go. So let's check the email. As you can see, got a new email. We click on the link. We process, and that's the report we get. So just some stats up the top there for each of the 4 categories. You've got verdicts, robot, text state, the indexing state, and the page fetch state. And then underneath we have the details for each URL. So the top one is where the verdict was neutral. The second table is where the verdict was passed. And then we also have a link. So we click on the link, it takes us straight to the Search Console. Okay, before we wrap up, here are the 3 most important things to remember. 1, monitor your critical pages daily. 2, set up redundant alerts. And 3, have a recovery plan ready. If you want access to my workflow template, including the ZAC NAN workflow we covered and a CSV file for the NoCodeDB setup, head over to my free resource hub. The link is in the description. Also, I'm curious, what other aspects of your business would you like to see automated? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this valuable, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I release videos like this every week showing you how to build and scale your business with AI and automation. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep innovating.